you know, it's and then you've got, you know, me sitting here with you, and I'm not at all interested in communicating to Sarah. I have no interest in communicating with Sarah. None. None. But I'm trying to communicate to that is the creation of Sarah. That creates all. That creates the world. That creates the content. That creates the sun, the moon, the star. That creates the thoughts. That creates a feeling in a body. That creates a cricket, a mosquito, a fly, a dog, a cat, a flower, a tree, space. That creates. That is. You can't sit there with a straight face and say, I am not. You'd have to be there to say it. that is. This
right.
here, this here nowness. This, just
Yeah.
this that I'm referring to, we've just been taking to be Sarah our whole life. Why? Because somewhere around the age of 2, our parents started naming this presence, this consciousness, this awareness, this beingness. Our parents started naming it Sarah. Sarah. Was there a Sarah there prior to the birth? When you were in the womb, was there
No.
a Sarah there? At 6 months old, was there a Sarah there? In your experience, was there a Sarah?
No.
No Sarah there. Sarah comes along around the age of 2. When Sarah starts to learn language. And I shouldn't even say when Sarah starts to learn language, because that's not the process, actually. When language starts to get learnt, just when language starts to get learnt. There's not a Sarah there learning it.
I've never felt so recognized in my entire life. Thank you so much.
Sorry about that.
Because most people are just seeing you as a character, but then again, you're doing it's a seemingly participatory process.
Yeah.
That goes back to what you're saying. Yeah.
Good. Yeah, seemingly. Yeah, good.
That's the key word. Yeah.
It really is. Yeah. The division, the two, the duality is simply seemingly so. It's just seemingly so. And in the absence of all thought, something interesting happens. That duality collapses.
Thank you, Terry.
Yeah, then all is one. But, you know, I want you to understand this, okay? And it's important. When it finally dawns, it's so close with you, Sarah. When it finally dawns, I shouldn't have even called you Sarah then, but anyway, when it finally dawns, yeah, I want you to understand that there's a full and absolute understanding of duality, and at the same time, a full and complete, absolute understanding of non-duality. So
the character says, I can't wait till I get there.
Yeah, well, you already are. Well, that's the funny thing. You already are there.
Yeah.
You already are there. Yeah. So it's, you know, the pre-understanding, instead of using that word waking, right? But pre-understanding, all we know is duality without even knowing that. We don't even know that, but that's all we know, duality. But we don't know that's all we know, or even what we know. Like duality, we don't. It's just, yeah. And then post understanding, there's the full understanding of duality. We know what it is, yeah? Whereas before we didn't. Yet that's all we were, right? But we didn't know. So post, there's a full understanding of duality and a full understanding of non-duality.
Thank you so much, Terry.
And then the two, the seeming two, the non-dual and the dual, merge into one. Now there's a non-dual, dual experience happening. I'll say that again. Now there's a non-dual, dual experience happening.
Not much you can say about that.
No, no, there's not. And yet that's the reality. Yeah.
That's the reality.
Yeah, I know. And yet at the same time, there's still a seeming dualistic experience being had. Even now, even though now I know.
But it's recognized
100%.
as, yeah.
Now there's the knowing. It's not a concept now. It's not an idea. It's not a belief. It's not a hope. It's not a, it's just, it's, and the funny thing is, it's right here now. And the only thing that's saying it's not will be a thought. Holy shit, just a thought. Now, who or what is it that's responsible for all the thoughts? The one. The singularity, the one. All thoughts that are arising in all human beings around the planet right now are all coming from that. And then the one is having the experience of an apparent 8 billion seeming people. Yet it's creating all the thoughts so as it can have that experience. You've identified that thoughts just happen. They just happen. And if you realize, holy shit, it's not me, it's not Sarah, or it's not Terrence or Julie or Jazz, that's the creator of these thoughts. I'm not, because I've now become aware they just happen. It begs the question, where the hell do they come from? Who's the thinker? What's the thinker? You know? So, you know, it's,
Yeah.
tracking, yeah.
Yeah, this process of negation is was really key in helping me to even intellectually understand this.
Yeah. And that's
Yeah.
important. That is important because the first process is an intellectual one.
Yes.
It's got to make
Yeah.
sense. We use logic and rationale and reason to work this out. Then eventually, you get to a point where, now the decision needs to be made to put the mind down. And now we go to the direct experience. What's this finger pointing to? There's consciousness here, there is awareness here, there's a beingness here, there's an aliveness here. What's this? But by the time you get there, you know you're not the thoughts and you're not the body. You already know that. So when you know you're not the thoughts, or the thoughts aren't about a Sarah character, and you know that you're not the body per se, yeah, not that. Yeah. Then the question becomes, well, holy shit, what's this? And when I'm going, what's this? I'm not talking about the body. Yeah, there is an awareness here. There is an aliveness. There is a consciousness here. There's something really profound here. What's this? But to, truly ask that question, what's this? You have to have reached the point of knowing what you're not for this to have any meaning, for it to have any meaning at all, for it to be like, holy shit, what is this? Like, well, like, whilst this is being occupied by a Sarah, it'll have no meaning, especially in non-duality, is because the idea is Sarah's got to go. That's the idea, right? Sarah's got to go. But if Sarah's occupying the mantle of this beingness, this presence, this consciousness, this awareness, no wonder we get stuck and we get frightened, because if Sarah's got to go, so does this. So does this beingness, this awareness, this consciousness, this here-ness, this now, that's got to go too, after all, because this is where Sarah is. And what I'm saying is, no, this is not where Sarah is. So this doesn't have to go. This needs to be stopped being identified with and called Sarah. Because it's not. It's you. That is being sought by you. And I don't mean Sarah when I say that. Do you understand? I'm not talking to Sarah there.
Even if there is a belief going on in the character that's happening to the character, I know that that's not true.
Good enough.
In this moment, yeah.
Good enough. Okay, good. So now the question is, now what?
Well, we focus on, there's no effort, it's just, there's only aliveness. And there's nothing you can say about it. It's just there.
Yeah. And the mind will have difficulty with it. You have to acknowledge that.
Well, the mind will think itself into, analysis.
It'll have difficulty with it because it's as far as the mind is concerned, it's a no thing. It's a no. It's like empty. It's like it's a no thing. So, and the mind can't cope with no things.
Right.
The mind creates things all day long. Yeah. The interesting thing about the mind too, it doesn't notice space.
No, it doesn't. I've tried to observe that.
It doesn't notice space because space is a no thing. Can't connect. It can't grab a hold of it. There's nothing there. So
that's where we get stuck with the conscious of. Yeah.
And now when we just come back to aware of consciousness only and just being, it can get stuck with that too, because there's no thing there. There's nothing for it to grab a hold of. So it'll start making comments like, is this it? This can't be it. Surely this isn't it. Where's the fireworks? Where's the big bang? Where's the where's the But you've got to be able to drop all of that it's saying, drop all of that and just sit with this no thingness anyway. Sit with this seeming emptiness. Sit with this seeming something that is boundless, has no boundaries, has no shape, has no form, has no color, and yet here I am. It's the weirdest, strangest thing. Yeah. And you've got to be prepared to go into that. That sounds binary, I understand, but it's just having more of an interest in that as opposed to having an interest in this, which is what we've done our whole life. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
I sometimes refer to it as, instead of being conscious of, which is where we live all day long, conscious of, turn around, 180-degree turnaround. What's this that's conscious? Let's now shift from being conscious of and come back to just pure absolute consciousness itself. And you are conscious right now. You are. What's that? And I don't mean when I ask that question, or when you ask the question yourself, you don't want an answer. It's a rhetorical question, just to bring you here. And just sit there, stay there, sit there. And then the mind will get active, or you've got to get up, you've got to go to work, you've got to go and do things, that you'll be active and you'll be moved to do things, and just go off and you'll be doing things. And then all of a sudden there'll be just a moment where everything quietens down, and you can have a moment just to come back again, just come back. Boom.
Yeah.
It's coming back to that silence, that quietness, that seeming emptiness. It's actually fullness. It's full. But it's not constructed of things. It's different. It's like love is not a thing. You can't, we can have different concepts and ideas about what love is, but love, the essence of love itself, the essence of it, it's not a thing. The essence of it. Yet there it is. Or consciousness. It's not a thing. Yet here it is. It's being prepared to sit and stay with that only, no matter what this is. That's why people, they pick themselves up and they walk off into the forest and they sit under a tree, and they sit there for days and days and days and weeks, and they just sit under a tree, just sitting.
My mind tells me that's the only way I'm going to awaken.
It doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be.
Yeah.
I know it might be saying that, but it doesn't have to be. But a lot of the reason people do that is to minimize the distraction of for the mind.
Plenty of distractions for the mind.
There is. But there's also this method, and this method, firstly, is about coming to understand what you're not.
Right.
And often people will go and sit under a tree out in the forest, yeah, and they're coming to understand what they're not without even realizing that. Without even realizing. But this teaching is very vocal about coming to understand what you're not. It's very vocal about that. Is there an actual person here or not? Yeah. So, and all the things that you haven't yet understood, all the things that you still don't currently know for sure, yeah, or you might on an intellectual level, might know it, but the true absolute knowing of it, yeah, comes from sitting in that silence.
Right.
When it dawns on you, when it finally dawns, all the things you didn't know are revealed. And it doesn't have to happen immediately either. It can still be over a period of seeming time. Things just,
very gradual.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that waking process to actual self, as opposed to illusionary self, that can seem gradual, but when it happens, it's instant. It can seem like a gradual opening, but then when it finally hits, when it finally lands, when it finally dawns, it's instant. Boom. Oh, holy shit. So Father Christmas isn't real. Oh my God. Yeah. And then, you'll catch yourself after that realization, and there's a knowing, right? Father Christmas isn't real. You'll catch that. But every now and then, as each year goes by, you'll see Father Christmas. And sometimes you might even be taken by Father Christmas for an instant. And then you go, oh, no, hang on. Father Christmas isn't real. Yeah? So this idea of Father Christmas not being real is about the personal character not being real. It might every now and then pop up. It seem like it's the personal character. Yeah. It'll just dawn on you. Oh, hang on a minute. Hold on. That was just a mind construct, pattern of thoughts that were just happening, and a seeming me just seemed to be being recreated there for a moment. Okay. Then you just see again. Ah. And celebrate the seeing. It's important. Celebrate the seeing. Celebrate the understanding. If you see something or something dawns on you, ah, smile. Don't do what a lot of us do. Oh no, you idiot. I did it again. When am I? You're straight back in the mind again. You're straight back in there again when you do that. But if you can go, just catch things and go, Yeah.
Thank you so much, Terry.
Pleasure, Sarah. I hope that helps. I
It
get you.
does.
I get you. I get you. Yeah.
I know you do. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. Pleasure. No worries.